Okay, it was an idea that I had when I first started developing our bebop model. I wanted to develop like the coolest passive bass I could, and then I thought, because my background was active basses, and I wanted to make something passive, and then I thought, okay, when I make something passive, will that be like enough in every situation, or do you miss something? And then I thought, maybe in some situations you would like to be able to boost the bass a little bit. So I thought that would be an option, but I didn't want it to make like a knob where you can turn it and fine tune it, because I thought then you're going to approach the bass as a passive bass or as an active bass again, because then you're going to tweak a little, play a little, tweak a little, play a little. I wanted to remain, to have it remain like a passive bass with an option that you could put on off. So that's why I came with the idea of the fat boost. Like have boost, you can turn it on off, and that's it. No tweaking, so that you approach it like it was still a passive bass. And then I asked Mark van der Klei if he could develop it for me and build it for me, and he's been doing that ever since.
So when I felt the sound, so because I already tested your bass, when I recorded that called the Protect trick. It's a famous trick for bassists. So when I turn on the boost, I realized, oh, almost a similar result, legendary sound in there.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
oh, that's cool.
Because when I boosting somewhere, usually your fat boost, boosting somewhere, and I think a little bit reduce somewhere mid range naturally, because of every analog circuit making some little bit boost and somewhere cut there, somewhere cutting there. So I can hear kind of sound similar Protect trick. So actually I very like the kind of trick. So when I tested your bass, oh, this is so useful. I thought that.
Oh, thank you. Nice to know. Because there's different uses. Because some people they use it like the boost that I intended. Some people on the back they put the trimmer to 0. And they use it only as a buffer to make it active, to get through all the effects. And some people, they take the battery out and use it as a mute switch. Okay, that has a story. So I used to build like high-end basses, beautiful woods and laminates and tops, front, back and inlays and pickups and preamps, big preamps, switches, all like that. And I liked that back then. I liked to make it like that. And in those days, there were customers who asked me, can I also order a jazz bass from you? And I would say, no, there's enough jazz basses around. Buy one of those, I'm doing this. And over several years, that happened to me quite regularly. And then one day I thought, I think at least 20 people have asked me this. Why exactly am I selling a no? And that started me thinking like, okay, what is it? Why are they asking me to build a jazz bass when they can buy a ton of them? And then it sort of slowly dawned on me that they can't find a jazz bass, because of course they can, but they really like it if I would build it. So suddenly I realized, hey, this is a big compliment. They want me to build it, and I felt that's such a great compliment that I thought, I must honor that, I'm going to offer something. And that's when I started thinking about doing something with the jazz bass, kind of making my own twist of it, my own interpretation of it. And when I started doing that, I kind of, my personal taste also switched along with it. And so we at a certain moment we discontinued the older models. We got the same way, because I did the same thing. Because normally when I was young, when I was a live stage player or recording session, usually I use kind of, we can say, Fodera kind of stuff. Also I had one Fodera, but I sold it. So I sold it nowadays. But that day I love the active sound, dual coil humbucker, and many functions in there. But someday I realized when I'm tweaking something for hide my weakness,
my weakness point more bigger because I use it.
Yeah.
So I decided to totally not use something, and I decided to use my finger if I want to the bass sound
Yeah.
go to front, something like that.
I think that a passive bass it has limitations, but because of the limitations, it forces you as a player to develop more.
Like a violin.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. It's a good question because there are many opinions around about what makes a good bass. For me, I think my philosophy would be I want, for one particular bass, I want everything to match. So, for instance, let me give an extreme example of the opposite. I once was at a trade show and there was a guitar maker who made this very artistic guitar with 3D curved shapes all around and laminates and really artistic design. And I was looking at it and I thought, man, I cannot even imagine it. And if I could, I probably cannot build it like that. It was skill far better than I have. But then I thought, what kind of music are you going to play with this? You're not going to take this in a rock band and play rock music because the looks are wrong. So that was kind of a conflict I had with that instrument. And it made me realize what I think is important, that the whole concept of the bass matches, so that sound, looks, construction, quality, for that one particular bass, they should match for the purpose of that particular bass. So if we build like a relic bass, for instance, then I'm also looking for an old sound, and I'm also looking for an old color or something. Another thing is that I think sometimes we are, as bass players, we are looking for the one bass that can do it all. And I think it's better to realize that every bass, when it's a good bass, it might have a strong character, a certain character, which makes that bass good for this situation. But another bass might have a quite different character, which makes it a better choice for a different situation. So to look for the one bass that has it all, you're probably going to end up with a bass that can do a lot, but a lot average. But I'm more interested in making one bass with its own personality that might not be all around for every situation, very good in the thing that it does. So that's kind of my philosophy. I want every part, like feel, playability, looks, sound, material choice, I want it to be like one match. I have a holistic design in mind for that particular bass. So that's my philosophy.
Okay.
Okay. Replica? No, of course not, because I have my own designs. I mean, I always say, if you really want an old Fender, you best buy an old Fender. That's nothing is going to be better than an old Fender. I want to make a bass that has that gets you as much as possible to the vintage sound and matching looks, but still have a few like specs that we nowadays expect from a custom bass, like superb playability, and that you can have it adjustable for 10, 20, 30, 30, 50 years without problems, things like that. There are a few details in the classic line that are, of course, is an imitation of certain vintage instruments, like the veneer board. But we do a compound radius veneer board, which is something new again.
Yeah.
So I also noticed that when you have an old bass, there's something about the sound that really has to do with the pickup, more perhaps than the bass. And in reality, nobody can reproduce a vintage pickup. I know people say they do, but it's impossible, because we don't have the same wire they used back then. Even our magnets have changed. I know people can replicate the magnets, then the magnetizing process might be different and get you a different result. And so there's a lot of factors, and there's more than this. But that's part of the sound. So if you want a real vintage Fender, you best buy a vintage Fender. If you want like a modern bass that comes very close to a vintage sound, then that's the classic line.
Good answer.
Sort of, yeah. The bridge really has a significant influence on the sound, the material of the bridge. So if you would put an ETS bridge, which is brass, if you would put that on a classic model, then it would no longer really sound classic. And if you put a traditional steel bridge on the normal bebop, it will sound a little bit more vintage, exactly. As for tuners, I don't think that the tuner itself contributes a lot to the sound, but indirectly I think they contribute, because vibration in the headstock, that's something that really influences the timbre of the sound. Timbre, yeah. So if you put different tuners on the headstock, then there's different vibration going on, which may give you a slightly different character. Yeah. Some things, bridge and tuners, you can change them. Neck design is different, so that remains a factor.
Okay. Yeah. Someone wanted to more good playability, but with more vintage sound. She can change some bridge too.
If he has a normal bebop and he wants to have a little bit more vintage kind of sound, yeah, you can change the bridge to a classic steel bridge. Yeah. For myself, that's
just the one baby.
Yeah, that's a trick question, because all right, I might better answer it like this. If I build a classic bebop with a rosewood fingerboard, then my favorite pickup would be the Klopman jazz pickup. If it would have a maple fingerboard, then I would probably have as a favorite pickup the Freyland pickup.
Freyland.
Yeah. If we talk about the Soulmate, I like the Freyland really a lot. I like the Klopman also, but I like the Nordstrom pickup also for. So I find it difficult if I go to the 51 model, I might give a different pickup. It depends a little per model. So I find it a very hard question.
Just the one baby in your life.
Yeah, usually I build for a customer, so I'm going to build what he likes. So, but for myself, I would say probably Klopman and Freyland are my personal favorites.
Okay, so I think you answered maybe first your choice must be right. You choose Viva Pro. First time you Viva Pro rosewood and Freyland pickup you told.
Yeah, it depends, because I've noticed that certain pickups work well in certain combinations of wood. So I cannot say, oh, bebop use Freyland or bebop use Klopman, because it depends on what blues you choose.
Yeah. We know every place have its own character and grade, but this question about just you, so it's just a fun, so don't serious.
Those are I guess my two favorites, and I'm working on my own pickup. Hopefully that will be a new favorite as well.
Okay, I'm waiting for that. Yeah. So question time is.